So complex trauma is the first type. The second type I work with is racial trauma.
Yeah.
And so there's a
Hi, my name is Nicole Young, and this is Life in Balance TV. For this segment, I have my wonderful friend, Marsha Banks Harold of Pies Fitness Yoga, and she will be discussing today trauma and the role that yoga therapy plays in bringing healing to our emotional self. So, hi, Marsha.
Hey, how are you, Nicole?
Good to have you back.
I'm glad to be here for sure.
Okay, wonderful. Let's talk about trauma and the role that you play in bringing into using yoga to heal others who have experienced trauma in their life. It's yoga therapy.
Yes, so yoga therapy really focuses on empowering people based on what experiences they've had in their life. And so I work with clients who have experienced complex trauma. So complex trauma is when you've had a repeat of different types of lived experiences that haven't been so great for you, traumatic experiences.
Right.
And so I work with children who've lived in homes that have not been so stable. Complex trauma also shows up in people in regards to just sexual trauma. I mean, so it's all different types.
Yes.
So complex trauma is the first type. The second type I work with is racial trauma.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot that's happening in the world today. And so racial trauma really shows up in our body, in the physical body. It touches our heart also from an emotional perspective.
Yeah.
And the third part of trauma that I work with is workplace trauma. And so trailblazers, people that are overachievers, they find themselves kind of not connected in the workplace.
Yeah.
And so yoga therapy is really awesome because we get to work on all of the areas of the life in which the person's impacted. And so we use the postures themselves, but we also use philosophy where we actually talk about different techniques that work to create balance in our lives.
And let's be realistic, a lot of us have trauma from in utero. I mean,
Yes.
because if our mothers had trauma while they were pregnant, it can pass on to the child. And then once you give birth, we go through life with that trauma without realizing that we have trauma. And as parents, we do the best we can. So we always talk about children, say we traumatize them, but we do the best we can with what we know. So once we're able to grow and get that holistic approach to addressing the issues, we can become healed and well. And I thank you for doing that work because that is such important work in our community. And taking care of our mental health is so key to our physical and intellectual well-being. So with Pies, it's the whole self.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that. Thank you so much. So what are we going to do today to show some of the positions or some of the techniques to help us cope with that trauma? I know it's not going to heal us. What we're doing today is not for you to heal, but what she's doing is showing an example of what you can do or what you can advise someone to do. This yoga therapy does not take the place of seeing a mental health therapist, just to let you know that. What it does is it works in concert with it, correct?
That's right.
You
that's
work
right.
together with therapists, with other licensed clinical social workers or counselors and psychologists. You work with them as well. And we encourage people who may feel some sense of trauma to do that. But yoga therapy is also a great way to incorporate the whole self and healing in that process. So what are some of the poses we're going to do today?
Definitely. So one of the biggest options that we use is the concept of choice. So instead of forcing people into certain postures, we give alternatives. So that's really one of the main concepts.
All right, so here we are. We are about to get into restorative
Yoga
yoga therapy. So let's hope I do well. Marsha is going to guide me through some steps. Marsha, you want to take it away?
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Nicole, for being here today. So in our yoga therapy session, we start with an intake process. So just want to check in with you and see how you're feeling physically, intellectually, emotionally, or spiritually.
How do I feel right now? I'm a bit tired,
Okay.
but my muscles are a little strained. But other than that, I feel okay. I feel
Awesome.
okay. But I want to lay down.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay,
Remember,
that's all I'm
in
thinking of.
yoga therapy, especially when we're dealing with trauma, it's about choice. So if you want to lay down, this is the perfect time.
Oh, good.
And so you also have the option. You can bring your feet together. You can place your blocks underneath your knees. You can extend your legs out in front of you. You can place your
This
arms.
feels amazing.
Awesome. And that's really what this is about. So just settling into this state of peace for you.
Let's hope I don't fall asleep.
And this is exactly what this is about. It's really about you and being powerful women. A lot of times we forget to take time for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so as, you know, the leaders of our companies and being the leaders of our home in terms of, you know, making sure everything is organized, we need time for ourselves. So this is really about you. You don't have to stay long, just maybe settle into this and
you say we have to think about what our bodies are telling us to do.
yes.
So
You
we
may-
have to relax into, not force our bodies to do something it doesn't want to do.
That's right. This is really about listening to your body. So you started with your arms and hands on your belly. Maybe you want them out to the side. Maybe you want your palms up. It's really about what you want. And yoga therapy and trauma sensitive yoga really just gives you this opportunity to choose what works for you and to notice how the breath is moving throughout your body. And you can have your eyes open or closed. It's really a time to tap into your awesomeness, your strength.
What are some of the things that you ask your clients without getting too personal? What are some of the things you ask them during this session?
Yeah, so some of the things we talk about is literally what's happening in their families, in their work life. What are they dealing with about who they are? Who is your authentic self? That's the really most important concept that we tap into, because a lot of times we have this imposter syndrome. We get into this thing of trying to be everything for everybody and not really knowing who we are. So this time, this posture that you're in allows you just to think about, who is Nicole?
Yeah. A lot of times we use that phrase authentic self so loosely. And I don't think we really have delved deep into what it means to be authentic.
Yes.
Because we put on so many faces for every facet of our life when it should be one person.
That's
so
right.
If I'm loud and boisterous at home, I should be loud and boisterous in the workplace. I should be loud and boisterous when I play. If that's who I am, I don't have to be timid and shy and play small in the workplace, or timid and shy and play small. And, so we have to bring our whole selves. And that's what that means. Am I right?
That's right. Come on up. That's awesome. It's all about choice.
That felt so good. If I stayed there any longer, I would sleep.
Right. Well, I'm glad that you really brought that up. It really is about being who you are regardless of which environment you're in.
Yeah.
And so that authentic self is the one that's most powerful. It's the person that is separate from our identities, separate from our titles, separate from being a mother, an executive leader, separate from being a studio owner or business owner. Who are you in your own quiet time?
Yeah. And I like me too.
That's me too. That's the good thing.
I do. I can be playful. I can be serious. I can be firm. And sometimes I'm a little judgy.
Yes.
So I know that's who I am, and I have to accept it. And where I need to make changes, I make changes. But as long as I know, some people say, "Oh, I'm not that." No, I'm that. But I bring all of that to wherever I am, and that is from years of therapy too. For me, mental health therapy, but incorporating the yoga therapy would really help me, because I am a firm believer in treating the whole self. What's the point in treating the mind and not the body?
That's right.
Or the body, we're all walking around all physically fit, but our minds and our emotions are not intact. So I do believe in the whole self, and I love the concept of yoga therapy and allowing your body and your mind to do what it needs to do at that point in time. One of the things is, and let me know if rest is so important in our capitalist society, we burn candle at both ends. And the thing is that we never find time to rest. And rest is not just laying flat in my most favorite yoga position, shavasana. That's the only one I know. It's not, rest also could be doing something you enjoy. Am I right?
That's correct. It's different for each person. And that's what I love about yoga therapy. It's not prescriptive. I don't show up and offer the same thing for each person.
Right.
We have that intake process where we talk and I say, how are you feeling? And from there, you decide what posture is best for you. We work together. And it may be like a high powered run. That might be what you need today. And that might bring you the rest that you need.
Yes.
Sometimes it's laying back in this restorative pose and just tapping into a place of calmness. But it's really about learning yourself. I loved how you said that. Like, I know who I am. Once you know that, you can communicate that to the people around you. You build community and people can accept you, because that's a great yoga therapy philosophy concept, acceptance. Accepting yourself for who you are and where you are in your life.
Yes, I like that. I really, really like that. I think it will be a good practice to incorporate, if not daily, weekly, even monthly. How often do people usually do yoga therapy? Or is it that whenever you feel it?
Yes. So we really hope that you're doing yoga therapy every day. It's a lived experience.
Right.
It's these concepts you want to bring into your life in every part. When you're cooking, when you're cleaning, when you're doing your executive decisions at the workplace, when you're hanging out with your children or your partners in life. Yoga therapy is lived. It really is about the mindset.
So it's a lived practice. So
Yes.
it's a way of life.
That's right.
And if you want to balance your life, I would advise that you incorporate yoga therapy. And now that we are coming to an end, I am going to show you my most favorite restorative position. And apparently, I was told it is the hardest position for some people to go into.
That's right.
Because we don't relax.
That's right. So this is shavasana. It's our resting pose. It allows us to really kind of integrate everything that we've done. So we've talked a little bit. We've let go of some things that have been in our mind, but this is the final resting pose. Just hang here and just be at peace. Notice how your breath moves your belly, expands and contracts naturally. This pose is a pose of renewing ourselves. And it's typically not always easy to access because we're so busy in this world. But once you incorporate this as a practice into your life, then you'll be able to notice your mat supporting you. Notice your palms and fingers relax, your toes relax, your ankles, shins and knees. You notice your quadriceps, your hips, your core and your chest. You notice your shoulders and fingers relax, your forehead, the very top of your head. You notice your entire being at peace. And this is shavasana. So when you're ready, you're welcome to add movement, bringing your, that's it, knees in towards the chest. You can wrap your arms around. You can come back to a seated position.
Hug me.
And hug yourself. That's right.
Thank you so much, Marsha. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys joining us today for some yoga therapy.
Thank you.